if you don't have that confidence to do it, then it can feel insurmountable.
The one thing that really changed everything for me is when I realised the reason I was being stuck where I was before is it was all in my head.
So the way that I look at it is therapy, if we were driving through, like in a car, I don't know where we're going.
There's not going to be a sign from God telling you that, this is the change you got to do. It's all kind of like down to you.
Part of getting out of that frame of mind, that mindset, was actually getting coaching. Hi guys, welcome to The Middle Ground. I'm one of your hosts, Olivier Nicholas.
And I'm Rhys White. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about why you're stuck and how to break free. Okay, and I think this is a topic that we could both relate to. I think we both felt stuck at some point in our lives. But what do you think is like the main thing keeping people stuck?
Confidence.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things, but for me, confidence is one thing that I think keeps people stuck, because I'm just trying to draw upon my past experiences. Because I remember when I was stuck in a job for like 10 years or whatever, you can sort of do that in your sleep, right? So you think about it less, you're on autopilot more.
Yep.
Your brain kind of almost is like, okay, well, if you're good, I'm going to chip off, sort of thing.
Like the comfort zone. You're in the comfort zone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then because you're stuck in this sort of autopilot cycle, you don't really see yourself as having, or at least I didn't feel as though I had the ability to do anything else. So I stayed stuck because of that. And I think that was, for me, it was a confidence thing. I didn't really see that I would be good at anything else, really. And I think it was because of when I started training to become a coach, and then I would receive feedback from other people, and it was probably one of the first times in my life where I actually felt like I was like onto something, like I was good at something. When I would get this people like, oh, Olivier, like that was great, like you really helped me, like in this instance. And then I was like, I felt confident in that thing, and that helped me to get unstuck, I think. Because it was, going into the same job every week, and you're doing it on autopilot and thinking that you can't do anything else. And then suddenly I thought, oh, well, actually, maybe I am good at something else. Maybe this isn't maybe this isn't the end of my story, because it did feel that way. And that's, I guess, by definition, stuck, right? Because it feels like that's the end of your story, maybe.
I think exactly what you said. We're creatures of habit, right? And when you do the same thing over and over again for a long period of time, doing the same job, doing the same routine, anything new or out of that routine, or or anything changes, you kind of freak out and go, no, don't like this. I'm not used to this. I don't know what that is. I don't feel comfortable. Do you know what I mean? We're always drawn to being comfortable in what we're doing, right? And I think also it's the one thing that really changed everything for me is when I realised the reason I was being stuck where I was before in a job I didn't like and low energy, all that kind of stuff, is it was all in my head. It was the thoughts in my head that were keeping me stuck in the past, but also scared of the future. Do you know what I mean? And I think that keeps people stuck in the sense that when you're scared of the past, you may have done something and failed, or done something and it didn't go to plan, and then it's your because that happened, it's the words in your the thoughts in your head telling you that you tried this before and it didn't work out. Why is it going to work again? Or you always do things but you never stick to it. They're thoughts repeating in your mind that stop you from doing something because it's attached to something that's happened previously. When you're fearing the future, you think of the worst possible outcome on anything that you do that is new and out of your comfort zone. So I'll give you a great example of that. Is, again, I keep referring to this, but me and Emily went away to Thailand for a month. It's the first holiday away with the baby, okay? And from door to door, we're looking at a 23-hour journey, from leaving our house and arriving to Thailand. So we had to get two flights. First time we're on a plane with Luca, and it made us super, super anxious. Like, Emily was really nervous about getting to Thailand because we just didn't know what was going to happen. But in our minds, we were thinking, Luca's going to be a pain on this flight. He's going to be crying all the time. Everyone's going to be looking at us. There's going to be shit everywhere. We were thinking of the worst possible thing to happen on this flight. And I'm not saying that was going to stop us from going to Thailand, but we were getting really stressed and anxious about it. So it's like our thoughts in our head are creating a scenario that hasn't even happened yet, and that's making us anxious to do it. Do you know what I mean? And that could be for anything: going to the gym, getting yourself a coach, or doing whatever it is outside your comfort zone. You straight away think of the worst possible thing that could come from it. And actually, when we went to Thailand, we got on the two flights. He was an absolute angel. Nothing bad happened. And from that, me and Emily were just like, oh my God, I can't believe we were stressing out about this. Yeah. Like, almost to the point where we were thinking booking, maybe we should have gone somewhere closer, or booking Thailand was a bad idea. And when we did it, it was completely fine. It was absolutely fine. So it's the scenarios that you create in your head that stop you from doing something. Like, when I tell people to go to the gym, and it might be the first time, in their mind, they're like, everyone's looking at me. Everyone knows I'm a newbie. Yeah. Everyone knows I'm going to mess up. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. It's going to be absolutely terrible. But when you do it, that's fine. So I truly believe, like, you got to not be stuck. It's not about forcing yourself to do something. It's about letting go.
Yeah, I like that. I like that approach, because that's easy. That feels more manageable.
Yeah,
the idea of, like, just the terminology, like the wording around things like force yourself out of the comfort zone. Like that word force is in itself inherently a negative word, right? Yeah. So I love that approach in terms of letting go of something. I like to think of it, something that I say to some clients as a visual representation is, if you're walking up the hill with two bags of shopping, or like two bags, they're really, really full, what's one thing that you could take out of the bag that would make walking up that hill a bit easier? Do you know what I mean? So you're letting go of something. I think also as well, as humans, we're predisposed to a negativity bias. We tend to catastrophize ahead of time and think of, like in your example, when you were going on holiday. But for me, and I don't know if this is inherently something that I find and other people don't, but for me it comes back to confidence again. And it's not having that confidence to have conviction in your actions. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even if that's just one small action, if you don't have that confidence to do it, then it can feel insurmountable. You know what I mean? So that's why I really liked the idea of letting go of something, because it completely reframes that in my mind now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no longer about forcing yourself to do something. It's allowing yourself, you know, and that's empowering, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because I think people lack confidence because they have failed at things before. But if you, rather than forcing yourself, you know, to do something, you know, a good start would be letting go of the past, because it's dragging you down, essentially. Like, there's a story, I was reading this book when I was on holiday, and these two monks were walking to somewhere. I don't know where it is. These two monks were walking somewhere, and it was after like a very heavy rain, and on one side of the kind of like muddy river was a child who was trying to get over to the other side, but it was really muddy because of the rain. And one of the monks went over, you know, walked across the mud. He got super muddy, you know, ruined his, you know, whatever they wear. What do they wear? Like a gown?
Robes?
Yeah, robes. Okay, got his robe really muddy. Picked up the child, walked the child over the muddy river again, put her down, and then they both walked on. And then 5 hours later, the other monk says, "Why did you do that? That's not very monk-like. You know, you got your robe all muddy, and we don't, you know, monks don't do that kind of thing." And the other monk said, "That happened 5 hours ago. Have you been carrying that girl the whole time?"
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's so easy to do, though, isn't it? It's so easy to do. And I think this is why I find this is why I love the kind of, I think there's a really powerful combination to be made between having therapy and having coaching. And the way that I like to, because I think you're right, it's, you know, using your example, it's about where we're going, not where we've been, if that makes sense. The example that I like to use when using that, comparing the two things, because it would be unfair to say that it's what's happened in our past is irrelevant, right? So the way that I look at it is, therapy, if we're driving through, like in a car, I don't know where we're going.
we have no idea what we did.
Actually, I've kind of ruined the punchline because it is important where we're going, but we'll get to that. So you're driving a car. Therapy is like going and looking in your rear view mirror and seeing what's happened behind. And you're going, okay, right, I need to figure out how to deal with what's behind me. Coaching is about checking your rearview mirror, but then ultimately looking through the windscreen. So you're going, okay, this has happened before. This is what I'm working with, you know, whether it's childhood stuff or whatever. So I'm going to recognize that that's something that's happened, right? Where are we going? You know, and then looking through the windscreen and being more future focused, which is, you know, your monk story kind of gave me no one knows where they're going.
I'm glad it made sense in the end.
But I love that, because it's, you know, as coaches as well, that's what it's about, right? It's about the destination as opposed to the journey, you know?
But also, I think letting go of your whatever crazy scenario you're creating in your head, I think if you push that to one side and actually make whatever you're doing into the future a bit of an unknown, and that should make it a little bit exciting, right? Yeah. That you're going to do something new you never tried before.
Like the monks.
Yeah. But you have no idea what the outcome is, and that's almost the beautiful thing, right? And you might absolutely love it, and you might then, it's like me going to the gym for the first time, that I absolutely loved it, and then I got over my fear, and it kind of, so much has happened based from me just going to that gym once. Do you know what I mean? I could have gone there and really hated it and not do it. Do you know what I mean? So I think having, just going into something and not having any expectations of what is going to happen, just go there, be in the moment, see what happens, and just enjoy the ride. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's like super important to, with confidence, if people are listening to this, it's like, but how do we do it? Because I'm not confident and I do think of the worst things. Just start small. Do you know what I mean? If you are going to the gym for the first time, and I know it always relates to that, but I am a fitness coach, maybe in the first session, rather than going in and working out, why do you go into the gym, just have a look around, see where all the equipment is, maybe just try and play around with 1 or 2 machines, see how they work, and then go home. So the next time you come, you know where everything is, so it's less stressful. You know how to use 1 or 2 machines, go on those, try some other things, and then just kind of ease your way into that, rather than like jump in and lift this weight and do X, Y, and Z and lift heavy shit. That's more intimidating. But just kind of like easing your way into it and getting used to your surroundings, I suppose.
And managing your expectations as well.
Yeah.
And changing them if you need to, right? Because just thinking back to, when I was essentially stuck, you have to change your expectations around what you think is achievable and what you think is possible. Because if you set your sights too high, then you're bound to fail and you're going to feel shit as a result of that.
Yeah.
So that it's not, when that happens, it's not about you, it's not a reflection on your ability, it's a reflection on your expectation. So that is what needs to change. And I've personally found that to be quite a good compass for me in terms of business, in terms of probably the gym as well, to be honest. Putting it in a really mundane example, maybe not mundane, but like a simplistic example, I would set my weight too high, or I didn't think it was too high, but it was too high, and then my rep range would rapidly decrease. Starting at 12, and then it was like 6 or whatever on the 3rd or 4th set. But my expectations were too high. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same. It's the same in everything. It's the same in business. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't try and push ourselves, or that we shouldn't, set. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like high goals.
Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. I think it's good to. I think it's healthy to have aspirational goals, but I think you need to be realistic as well. And it's a bit like the SMART, layout. It has to be achievable and it has to be realistic. And as soon as one of those things drops, then you feel bad, and then you're more likely to give up, and then you're more likely to stay stuck.
What one thing I could think back on when I was stuck in my job and before I got into fitness, you were talking about being stuck in the same cycle of going into work, coming home, and doing that, and anything outside of that is scares the shit out of you. But I also found what became habit were the excuses I was telling myself. Do you know what I mean? I think people's excuses keep them stuck from doing anything, but it's stuff they've been telling themselves their whole life. So I'm too busy, I'm not fit enough, or some people use this awful, terrible excuses, and they try and give themselves reasons not to do something, but it's completely irrelevant to what they do. Essentially, everyone's busy. Everyone has things to do. What your situation is not special in comparison to everyone else, but you need to make time or prioritize time for what you want to do. And I think the sooner you drop the excuses and actually kind of realize that no one's going to come in and save you, or there's not going to be a sign from God telling you that this is the change you got to do. It's all kind of like down to you in a sense. So you need to stop blaming other things or the situation you're in for stopping you from getting to where you need to be. Because 9 times out of 10, I think actually, if you just look at your current situation and plan to go to the gym and around your schedule, you can make it happen. But you've been telling yourself for so long about, I'm too busy, work is too busy, I'm busy. You're going to think you're busy, but when's the last time you actually stopped and looked at your schedule and think, actually, I could do a 20-minute run there?
Yeah. And for me as well, breaking out of unhelpful patterns such as that. So in my case, it was being stuck in my job. For me, part of getting out of that frame of mind, that mindset, was actually getting coaching, because it helped me to consider things that I hadn't considered. And it was kind of one of the first times that I really experienced the power of coaching and what that can do. And I started to realize that actually I had the answers. Excuse me. I had the answers, but I just couldn't access them. It's weird. It's like it unlocks this this door that I didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I personally felt as though I was making those excuses.
Yeah.
It's, and I think for me, one of those excuses was comfort. It's comfortable. Money's good.
Yeah.
But coaching really helped me to stop making those excuses.
Yeah. And I think it's also, people are waiting for that magic moment where they're going to wake up one morning and be motivated. Yeah. It doesn't quite happen like that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't kind of jump out of bed and go, I'm going to go to the gym today. It's kind of like, you know what? I need to wake up. I kept telling myself I was too busy. I kept telling myself I don't have the energy, or, I was prioritizing other things like going out and partying over my health. And I just got to stop making those excuses anymore. And no one else is coming in to save me or tell me to do things. It's kind of all on you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I also, small steps are massively underrated, right? Rather than, if someone is listening to this and they feel stuck in either their fitness journey or their career journey and are looking at it from the point of view of it being a binary situation. So you're either stuck or you're unstuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't, in my view, it's not quite as binary as that. It's kind of a bit like the all or nothing thing, right? Think about what small step you could take in the right direction. So whether that is looking at what other careers align with your values, or whether that is enlisting a coach, to help you do that. But one small step feels far more manageable than going, okay, I just need to leave and that's it.
You know what? That's something that people don't do enough is sit down and just think, what are your actual values, right? What are your values? But also, how is you being stuck in the situation that you are right now is having an impact on those values? Or how would a person where you want to get to, let's just say a fitter, healthier version of yourself, how is that going to have a positive impact on your values? Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a good way of doing it, is write down what you value, but also how who you are today is having a negative impact on those values. But what can you change to be that person you feel like you represent? Do you know what I mean? Definitely. But also, I think when you talk about value, okay, so it's almost having respect for yourself, isn't it? if I kept inviting you to meet up for a coffee, you know, and I didn't show up, you'd be like, okay, that's a bit annoying. Rhys didn't show up, but let's rearrange and we'll meet up for a coffee the next day. We rearrange for another coffee and I didn't show up again. You're going to be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to bother anymore. You're not turning up. That's exactly what people are doing to themselves when they're stuck. They're not showing up for themselves.
Yeah.
Like when they say to themselves, I'm going to go to the gym on Monday, and they don't do it. I'm going to eat healthy from Monday. They don't do that. I'm going to go for a run on this day. They don't do it. I'm going to take action on this, and they don't do it. If you're consistently lying to yourself and not respecting your word, so how the hell are you ever going to do something? You need to see yourself as someone that you respect, and whatever you say that you want to achieve, don't lie to yourself and actually go and do it and respect yourself. I think that becomes more of a powerful thing because it's all on you, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone listening is in a situation where they feel stuck in either their fitness journey or their career, but hopefully what we've covered today has been helpful. But if anyone has any questions, then don't forget to drop some comments in. We're always there to answer any questions outside of podcasts. But you have been listening to the Middle Ground podcast, and I am Olivier Nicholas.
And I'm Rhys White.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, please, to hear more stories about monks driving in the middle of nowhere.
Cheers, guys.